Sit comfortably and easily. We'll do a few minutes of long, slow chanting of Om. So, Om begins at your navel and ends beyond your lips. Okay, so just follow the sound and follow the vibrations. It's like, when an aeroplane passes on top of your head from behind. You can first feel the aeroplane, sound of the aeroplane at the distance, and as it approaches closer to the top of your head, you can see the intensity of sound increasing. Yeah. In the same way, when you chant Om, when you start from the navel, the vibrations start and they slowly start approaching closer and closer to you. Just observe this phenomenon. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, just follow the sound from the navel as it ends at the lips and beyond the lips for a little distance, about 6 inches below your nostril it ends. Okay, we will do long slow chanting of Om. Let's take a long deep breath in and begin. And relax. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Sarvalokanam Vishache Bhavarogina Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Hari. So, the purpose of life is to feel free. What binds us is karma. What generates karma is actions done without awareness. When our actions are unconscious, reactive and reflexive rather than being conscious and with awareness, the actions generate further actions, and that becomes your bondage, because once your action creates a particular impact, you will have to pay back that impact in one way or the other, and then you become obliged to it. So, how do we become free? There are three main paths that are described. One is the path of action, where you train yourself through discipline to act with awareness, to speak with awareness, to respond to what is happening around you. This path of yoga is called karma yoga. What? You optimize your actions, you bring awareness in your actions, you inculcate a discipline, you increase the prana in your system so that you don't act out of unawareness. The second path is called the path of devotion, where you offer all actions to something higher than you. It may be God or Guru or your own self, it does not matter. You just drop this sense of doership. I am doing it, or I am creating this, this has happened because of me, whether good or bad. Just say, everything I am offering to you. You are acting through me. And the third path is the path of knowledge, where you realize that there is nothing but only me in the universe. So, there is nothing for me to do action wise, there is nobody to surrender to either. When you look at these three paths, the first and second path still in the realm of duality. There is me and everything else. My action is impacting that person, this person, environment. So, I and something else. So, you try to correct this transaction. Same in the devotion, me and divine, me and Guru, me and that person, whomever you revere, and then once again you try to surrender to something else. Something which you think is outside you, is beyond you. And both these paths require one discipline, two effort and time. If you take the path of action, you can say, you know what, I could not even bend, now I can do 10 sun salutations, because I have been doing it for 10 weeks now, 6 weeks or 8 weeks. So, you have a result which takes time, effort and discipline to attain. I was so short tempered below, nowadays I laugh off at some things, I do not get bothered by things. So, you were somewhere, you have reached somewhere else. So, there has been a movement. You see what I am saying? Same in the path of devotion. You always thought, I am this, I am doing it. How can you tell this? Now you are offering everything and you say, I am not doing anything. Everything is happening through me. That is again a shift from one state to another. But in the path of knowledge, it is very interesting. It is instantaneous. There is no time involved in it. It is just realizing, oh, this was it. It is that aha moment. Oh, yes. Oh, this is living in the present moment. You do not say, Yesterday I was living 70% in the present moment, today I am 90, maybe in 2 years I will become 100%. You either are there or you are not there. And most importantly, this is effortless. There is no effort or discipline needed for this. However, the effort and discipline which you put in the other two paths will prepare you for this path. Otherwise, if you go and speak about the Vedanta to somebody who has not been initiated into any spiritual practice, one, they will not understand, worse, they will misunderstand, third, they will make it a concept and try to shower it on other people. Are you getting what I am saying? This path of knowledge, this aspect which is knowledge based, which is instantaneous, effortless, is called Upanishad. This is the knowledge part of the Vedas, and the Upanishads have very one simple message. There is no two, there is only one. The same thing they tell you again and again and again in different ways. And that is why Upanishads are also called as Vedanta. Vedanta means what? The end of knowledge. So, once you know what Upanishads say, there is nothing else to know. See, you only want to know something which you don't know, isn't it? And when the Upanishad says, all that you need to know is your own self, and you know that, what else is there to know? Are you getting what I am saying? So, that is why it is also called as Vedanta. And there are 108 Upanishads, all of them telling the same thing. It is like the Bollywood movies of the 70s. You watch the entire decade, the same stories in all the movies. Different heroes, different heroines, different directors, different songs, that is all. There is nothing new. Upanishads are like that, but they are a revelation. Upanishads don't tell you anything new, they only make you aware what you already had, what you already were. If they take away, in fact, they take away something which you wrongly understood, that is all. Yeah. See, when I went to Qatar, my mother came to visit me, and then when she came, she said, I want to see a date tree, khajur tree. So I said, okay, I will find out. So once I was just walking in our own estate with her, and I met one of my colleagues who was staying in the same compound. And I asked him, can you show me if there are any date trees around? My mother wants to have a look at it. And he said, yeah, there are so many in this estate only, I will see. And then when we came to our house where we had to say goodbye, he says, right here in front of your house. So this was in my front garden in my house. Okay. My mother used to clean the floor underneath the tree every day. I used to walk around, I had even planted a banana sapling under the tree, but I didn't know that was a khajur tree. So Upanishads are like that. It was always there, but you didn't open your eyes and see it properly, and then, oh, this was here only. So that is the beauty of Upanishads. The Mandukya Upanishad is the smallest or the shortest Upanishad. It has got only 12 shlokas, but it is called the most profound Upanishads. It is called getting enlightened without God. Enlightenment without God. One of Swami Rama has written a book called Mandukya Upanishad. It is called Enlightenment without God. This is another thing to realize, that in the Upanishads there is no mention of God the way we remember, the way we understand, the way we use it in our day to day life. It only speaks about you, you and you all the time. So, two things. One, duality, non-duality. Duality is called karma, non-duality is called Vedanta. In duality, the path is effortless, time based, there is a result orientation. In non-duality, it is instantaneous, no relevance of time, and it is non-transactional. It is realizing. So, what is it that makes you think there are two? There is something which is more than one. Why? What makes you, or let's put the other way around. Why do you feel there is so many things in this world? Why do you feel the duality? This, because of which there is duality, is called ignorance. And what is ignorance? Ignorance is the inability to differentiate between the real and the unreal, the truth and the untruth. Now, we have got so many definitions for what is truth, what is untruth, what is real, what is unreal. In this, they give a very, very beautiful definition or explanation. They say anything that has got a dependent existence is unreal, and anything that has got an independent existence is real. Okay, let's give a few examples. Say, for example, you are standing in front of the mirror, yeah, and your reflection is in the mirror. You are not dependent on that reflection, but the reflection depends on you, isn't it? So, what you see in the mirror is very real, but it is unreal because it has got no independent existence. Are you with me? Are you getting? Just be with this line of logic, we will reach somewhere else with this. So, what you see in the mirror is just your own projection, the reflection of you in another medium. Yeah? Let us take another example. Say, for example, you want to make some curry. What do? You put a pan on the stove, put some oil, then put some seasoning, put some vegetables, put some curry powder, put some water, give it a little while, and then your hot curry is ready. Yeah? Now, the pan is hot now, the curry is also hot. The heat in the pan or in the curry, is it dependent or independent? Before you switched on the stove, everything was cold. Now everything is hot. If you take it away from the stove and leave it for a while, again everything becomes cold. So heat is a dependent faculty. Sorry, not the heat, the pan and the vegetables and everything. They got that quality because of contact with fire, and for fire it is an independent faculty. You cannot expect fire without heat. Yeah? When you say fire, there is always heat, but everything else that is transmitted from the fire is a dependent. So, anything that is dependent is called unreal. It does not mean it does not exist. In the Vedanta, in the Upanishads, it means that is not something which is permanent, that is temporary, that is changing, and that is not truth. So, definition of truth is what? That which is unchanging, that which is eternal. In both these cases, the reflection is also not eternal, because when the person in front changes, the reflection also changes, and in the curry also. Now, the heat can exist without the curry, but the curry cannot be made without the heat. Do you see? So, the heat is an independent entity. Then we will come to more common example, which is very commonly quoted: gold and the ornaments. Okay, you got a bangle, you got a necklace, you got a earring. They are all different, but essentially they are all dependent on gold. If there is no gold, you have got none of these ornaments. But gold can be there without being an ornament. Yeah, same like an ocean, wave and tsunami, they all can exist, they all look different, they are all real, but they are all nothing but water. So, what the Upanishad is saying is that in the same way, your body and mind, or the gross and the subtle body, which we can say, Mind here means mind complex, mind, memory, ego and self. Your body and the mind complex is dependent on the self from which it has arisen. So, that is unreal, your self is real. So, all these three are your components, all these three are your part of your existence, but the mind body complex is changing, is dependent, not eternal, whereas the self from which it has come out is eternal. So, it says this body and mind is untrue, is not real. And when you associate your identity with the body and mind, you are holding on to something which is false. And it says drop that and associate yourself with the unchanging, which is your own self. Now, what depends on the gross body? Your waking state. Your waking state is only possible because of the faculties in the gross body, isn't it? Now, if the gross body is unreal, then your waking state is also unreal. Then we have the subtle body or the mind complex, which is responsible for your dream. So, if the subtle body is unreal, then your dream is also unreal. So, the two states which you are very familiar with, which you very much think is part of you, which is the waking state and the dream state, the Upanishad says they are unreal states. So, whatever happens there, do not hold on to it, it changes. So, you are not supposed to take those two things seriously. Then we are left with what? We are left with the deep sleep state and another state, which is the only true state. That we will come to. So, what you need to understand is what is real, what is unreal. The unreal is one which has a dependent existence, real is which has an independent existence. That is the crux of it. And when you hold on to the unreal and take it as real, when you say, I am this, I am that, when you give the body, mind identity as your true identity, that state is called ignorance, and the state which causes this ignorance is called as Maya. Maya means what? The definition of Maya is Ya ma sa Maya. That which is not there but appears as if it is Maya. That which is not true but appears as if it is true is Maya. So, we now looked at one definition. What is truth? So, anything with an independent and eternal unchanging existence is truth. Then what is ignorance? Holding on to the changing as truth is ignorance. What is Maya? Maya is a state which promotes ignorance. And how long has Maya been there? From as long as creation was there, Maya was there. Maya is just a covering over you, and the only effort you need to put in your life is to thin out this curtain of Maya. It is like this, if I ask you, do you know French? Can you speak in French? You may say, no, I do not know. For how long you do not know French? I said, well, for as far as I can remember, I do not know French. So, like that, Maya is there eternally from creation. When the creation started, from that time Maya is there, but Maya has an end. So, in the next month or so, you can enroll yourself and learn some French and come back and now I know French. In the same way, when you become aware of your own self, when the knowledge of the self matures in you, then the Maya goes away. And this is the identity of the enlightened, where Maya does not have a role in their life. They have crossed, it is called crossing over Maya. And when you are under the influence of Maya, what you experience that is called samsara. Samsara is nothing but a repetitive pattern of life. You do something, don't inquire, think it is normal, get on with it, keep on doing and die one day and are born again, keep on repeating the same thing, because you never inquired. You never asked the question, what is this? Who am I? What is the purpose? Most people in the world are happy to follow the crowd and not ask question, because it is comfortable. If your life is based on comfort and security, there is no inquiry there. The only inquiry is, what is everybody doing? Let me also do that. And then that is how you define what is normal. Right now, in the current scenario, stress is a normal part of life. People say that is okay. Taking tablets is a normal part of life. Being unhealthy, being a bit obese, being lazy, that's all okay. Everybody is like that. Are you getting what I am saying? So, I am just giving you some fundamentals before we go into the actual Upanishad. So, the aspects of Vedas, the karmic part, which is action based, duality based and a non-dual based Upanishad. What is the purpose of Upanishad? What is liberation? What is bondage? What is truth? What is untruth? What is illusion or Maya? Illusion, Maya is beginningless, but it has an end depending on your effort. And then the state in which you live under Maya is called samsara. Freedom from bondage is freedom from this samsara. Is this clear? Does this make sense? Yeah? Good. This we have this much in your mind. Now you can move into the Upanishad. This Upanishad deals with another very important discovery, that is the association of the elements with the senses. If you remember the Tattva Bodha, what we saw, when the creation happened, first there was space. From space came air, from air came fire, from fire came water, from water came earth. And space is related to sense of hearing or sound. Sound is the most ancient faculty known to us. The first sense that develops in us is sound, and the last sense that leaves us is sound. Whether you die or whether you go to sleep, the last sense that shuts off is the sound. Just today, when you go to sleep, slowly try to be a little bit aware what is happening as you dissolve. The first sense that goes off is the sense of smell, the earth element. The next sense that goes off is the sense of taste. The third sense that goes off is the sense of sight. You think I close my eyes first, but even if your eyes are closed, the images are still hovering around. And the fourth sense is the sense of touch. You know, the beds, the mattress, the bedspread, your clothes, all that sensations will go, and the last sensation to go away is the sense of sound. And when you wake up, the first sense to return is the sense of sound. That is the rationale why you keep a sound alarm, not a light alarm. Do you see this? Just think about how it all works. Yeah. So, the sense that comes is sound. And this example was given by Gurudev. You know, the knowledge talks. If in a room so many people are sleeping, if you go and just slowly speak one person's name, only that person will hear it. Others will all be asleep. Yeah. So, sound is a very ancient phenomenon that is recognized by our consciousness. So, the most primitive sound is Om. And this sound has the secret of the entire creation. In fact, Mandukya Upanishad says the entire creation is in that sound. All that we see in this life is everything is encapsulated in Om. How is it that it explains? And it associates the different components of Om to the different states of our being, like the waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and the fourth state. Yeah? So, we will take the first shloka. And this is spirituality. Spirituality is what? Is the effort you put to overcome samsara, to thin out the curtain of Maya, and then so that the light of yourself shines through. So, every Upanishad begins with a Shanti mantra. So, this Upanishad begins with this Shanti mantra. Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangaihi Stuštuvagam Sastanubihi Yashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swastina Indro Vruddhashravaha Swastina Pusha Vishvavedaha Swastina Starksho Arishtanemihi Swastino Bruhaspatir Dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, this invocation means what? Bhadram Karne Vishrunuyama Deva. Let my sense of hearing be intact and strong so that I can hear to all the auspicious things. Bhadram Pashye Makshabirya Jatra. Let me see all the auspicious things to my eyes. Sthirai Rangaihi Stuštuvagam Sastanubi. Let my organs be stable and steady to be in the service of the divine. Bhadram Karne Vishrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirai Rangaihi Stuštuvagam Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu. Let me engage in yajna, in the service of the divine, as long as my life is there, as long as my lifespan, through the entire length of my lifespan. Okay. Let me dedicate my life towards Indra, who helps me to overcome the senses. And Pusha is the Garuda, which takes away the bad omens. Let Pusha look after me and take away the negativities from my life. And let Bruhaspati, who is the Guru of the Devas, bestow upon me knowledge so that I can stay in this forever. Yeah. So, this is the invocation for the Mandukya Upanishad. So, it starts with the first shloka. Om iti etadaksharam idam sarvam tasya upavyakyanam bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi sarvam onkara eva yaccha anyat trikalatītam tadapi onkara eva. Om iti etadaksharam idam sarvam. This sound of Om is everything. Tasya upavyakyanam bhutam bhavat bhavishyaditi sarvam onkara eva. When you chant Om, you have included the past, the present, and the future. Yaccha anyat trikalatītam tadapi onkara eva. If there is something beyond the past, present, and future, that is also within Om. So what are they saying? Everything is enclosed in Om. Sarvamapi Omkarameva. The next shloka it says, Sarvam hi etad brahman, ayam atma brahma, soyam atma chatushpad. First it said everything is Om. The second shloka it is saying everything is Brahman. So by mathematical deduction, Om is Brahman. Everything is Om, everything is Brahman. So Om is Brahman. Ayam Atma Brahma. This is a Mahavakya. There are 4 Mahavakyas in the Upanishads. They are just 4 sentences which represent the entire Upanishad. The first one we saw in the Tattva Bodha. What is that? Tattvamasi. You are that. Thou are that. This is the other one. It's called Ayam Atma Brahma. This self is everything. So now there are 3 equations now. Om is everything. Everything is Brahman. This self is Brahman. So Om equals Brahman equals self. And Ayam Atma, this self expresses itself in 4 aspects. Ayam Atma Chatushpad. Though Chatushpad means 4 limbs, what it actually means is it expresses itself in 4 different ways. The first one, Jagaritasthano Bahishpragnaha Saptanga Ekona Vimshati Mukaha Sthulabhug Vaishwanaraha Pratamah Padaha. Jagaritasthana, the wakeful state. Bahishpragnaha, the consciousness when it moves outward. Bahishpragnaha, the consciousness which flows outward is responsible for the state of wakefulness. Jagritasthano Bahishpragnaha. And this has 7 angas. What are the 7 angas which describes? One is the head. In the head it says it represents the heaven. The 7 different aspects of life we are acquainted. Head represents the heaven or the state of higher state of consciousness. Then we have eyes which represent the sun and the moon. The nose and the breath which represents the prana. The mouth which represents fire. The trunk which represents space or akasha or sky. The bladder region, the pelvis which represents the ocean. And the feet which represents the earth. So these are the saptanga, 7 aspects of the universe which you experience when you are awake. Then Ekona Vimshati, 19 mouths. What are the 19 mouths? This we know from Tattva Bodha. 5 organs of senses. 5 sense organs which are sight, smell, taste, touch and sound. That is 5. The next 5 are the karmendriyas. Vak, pani, padau, upasta, payu. Speech, hands, speech with which you communicate, hands with which you grasp, legs with which you walk, move, genitals with which you get pleasure, and anus with which you evacuate. These are the 5 organs of action. Then 5 pranas. Prana, apana, udana, samana and vyana. Prana is the incoming breath which energizes the body. Apana is the outgoing breath which relaxes the body, which is the respiratory and the excretory breaths. Samana is the digestive fire. Vyana is the circulation, and Udana is the nervous system. These are the 5 pranas. What do the pranas do? The pranas charge the body. Without the pranas, you cannot experience the external world, even though you have all the components. So, what is the external world? The 7 components. 1. The state of high consciousness, which is called as heaven, sun, moon, air or breath, fire, sky, ocean, earth. This, what you call as the external world or Prakriti, you experience through these 19 components, which are the 5 input organs or the sense organs, 5 output organs or the action organs, 5 pranas which charge this, and you perceive this whole information of the external world through 4 processors. These are called mind complex or mind, memory, intellect and ego. So, this is 19. This is called 19 mouths of the wakeful state of consciousness. And in the Bhagavad Gita, if you say in chapter 11, there is called Vishwarupa Darshan. In Vishwarupa, this is what Krishna shows, that I am all that you see. It is called Virata Roop. And this wakeful state is given a name. It is called Vishwa. When you, an individual, are wakeful, you are given a name. This name is called Vishwa. And when the cosmos, when the universe around you, which you see and experience in the wakeful state, it is called Vaishwanara. That is the name. Vishwa and Vaishwanara. So, the individual wakeful self and the cosmic wakeful self is called Vishwa and Vaishwanara. What does this feed on? Sthula Bhug. It feeds on the gross body. The gross body, which is made up of the 5 gross elements. Without this body, you cannot experience the wakeful state. Vaishwana Pratama, this is the first aspect of the infinite consciousness or Atma or Brahman. What? The Brahman expresses itself in this form. This is one aspect of expression of the Brahman. What? As a wakeful state, one projection of the Brahman, of the infinite self, is as a wakeful state. Okay. Should we stop here today? It's quite a lot to take in, yeah, and then we will come back. So, the realm of the gross body and the realm of the wakeful state is the desire for pleasure and freedom from fear. So, this is called comfort and security. What? When you are awake, what you are looking for all the time is pleasure and freedom from fear. Yeah. So, this is one realm of the Brahman, one realm of the consciousness. So, next time we will see the other 2 or 3, and then we will see the 4th, and then we will see how Om encloses all this as we move on. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkhabhat bhavet. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Gurudev.